Hello class, welcome to lesson 2.1. Stronger mathematicians can use area models for multiplications of ones and tens. So here's your notebook and your pencil and let's get started. So right now, box 1, notes. So we're going to learn some vocabulary words that go with our multiplication unit. So we have an array is an arrangement of objects, symbols, or numbers in rows and columns. So there are different ways you might see an array. You might see an array that looks like this in a box, or you might see a bunch of dots that look like this. Both of these would be considered array. Some are objects, some are symbols, and some are numbers. The next thing we talk about is the area. The area is the number of square units that cover a figure. So our area would be all of these units inside of here. So this would all be part of the area of this rectangle. N square units, said unit squared. It says a unit of area equal to the area of a square with 1 unit sides. You can see it written in this way. You might also see it written as unit squared, or to, like I said, it might be meters to the second meters squared, with that's a symbol right there. So there are different ways to write that. So you can pause the video right now and write down these notes in your notebook. Some examples today, we talked about looking at area model and how do we start to multiply. We look right now, we can take this model as this is a drawing of 2 times 40. So you see this big area right here. This would be a 1, this would be another 1, and this would be 40. So in a sense, we would have 2 times 40, which we see right here. Now we know 2 is pretty easy because 2 is already in the 1 place value. So we know that we can write that as 2 times 1. But notice 40 is a bigger number, so we're going to break that down into easier numbers for us. So if you think about it, how many groups of 10 is 40? Well, 40 is 4 groups of 10. So if we write this over again using our 1s and 10s, we have 1 plus 1. We'd have 10 plus 10 plus 10 and plus 10, which means we would have 2 times 1, and we would have 4 groups of 10. So it'd be 4 times 10. Now what we're going to do is we're going to find numbers that are easy to multiply. Our 1s, our 10s, our place values are easier numbers to multiply. So we're going to put those together in our multiplication equation. And then if we have these numbers, so we got rid of the 1 now, we got rid of the 10, we have the 2 left and the 4 left, we're going to multiply those together. 2 times 4. So once again, we're practicing our math facts. 2 times 4 is 8, which means we would have 8 groups of 10, which means we have an answer of 80. So 2 times 4 is equal to 80. So you can pause this right now and write down this problem right there and the work that we've shown, so you get an idea of how we're breaking apart numbers into place values to help us with our multiplication. Here's another example that we have. Like I said, it looks kind of similar to the last one, but you might see a little bit different. Notice we see things that are different. How we see? We've got 1, 2, 3 ones, and that's our number 3. So how do we break up 3 ones? It would be 3 times 1. And we see this big box, which would be 50. But we see this smaller one of the same thing, but broken into easier chunks of place value. Since we know 5 is in the tens place value, it would be 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 and plus 10, which means we would have 5 groups of 10. So we look at our number, our big multiplication of these 4 numbers right here, and we think, what are things that are easy to multiply? We know that 1 and 10 multiplied together is 10. Which leaves us with a 3 and a 5 to multiply together. 3 times 5 is 15. Which means we have 15 groups of 10, which means we multiply 15 times 10, we have 150. If I would write 10 in all of these boxes right here and add up all of my 10s, we would get the same answer of 150. So this is another example for you to pause it down again and write this information in your notebook. So now it's your turn to try to solve these problems. So what you want to do is focus in on, there's a picture drawing, if you kind of get a visual to represent it, but we're going to focus in on getting this information right here and seeing how we break those numbers apart. If you need to use the drawings, please feel free to use those as well. But pause the video and give this one your best shot. Another problem to try, to really focus in on being able to break apart numbers into their number and their place value, and to try this one as well. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to jot those down in box number 4. Also, if you have any strategies that you use to help you, make sure you write those down that you can share with others, and we can use this to help us with our discussion and in class. Thanks for another great lesson.